Welcome to the Sisterhood of Sweat. I am here today with Chad Austin. In a world that is flooded with promises of instant gratification, shortcuts, quick fixes, and easy buttons, Chad helps his clients stop constantly starting over so they can improve the quality of their life with long-term fitness success. Chad Austin is the owner of Priority Fitness in Overland Park, Kansas, and also is the best-selling and award-winning author of the book series Make Fitness a Priority. Chad is the former host of the talk radio show Be Fit for Life and has been featured on over 50 podcasts. Today, we really got into how to make fitness a priority, what to do when somebody's sabotaging you, how to fit fitness into your life, get over the excuses of I'm too bored, I'm too old, I'm too tired, and how to become donut slayers. It was so good. This is a perfect podcast if you find yourself reaching a goal only to have to start over, not understanding how to maintain, and also how to keep setting goals after you reach one. Without further ado, let's dive into this episode with Chad Austin. I am so excited to welcome Chad Austin to the Sisterhood of Sweat today. Welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Uh, we have so much in common. I mean, just in our little tiny chat before we began, I discovered that not only have you written books, which I have books, and you have a gym. Uh, and you are a fitness addict, I see.
It's a good way to
Uh,
describe me.
so I'm in good company today. And you've written a book called Make a Fitness a Priority. And how hard do you find that it is for people when they're having all these unexpected changes in life? They got to hit the fitness reset button to be making their fitness a priority.
It's very hard. That's the last thing I would ever say to anyone is that making fitness a priority is easy. It's hard for everybody, and us fitness professionals aren't excluded from that. It's hard for everybody. The make fitness a priority. That's something. So I've been in fitness for a long time, as I feel like you have as well, and it's just kind of come as me evolving as a trainer, knowing that when I first started, I'm kind of helping everyone with the short-term motivation that help them get in the door and help them reach their short-term goals. But making fitness a priority is just me kind of evolving as a trainer and wanting to help people get longer impact. Short-term motivation leads to short-term goals and temporary success. And so I want to help people really make it a priority in their life. That just means that it's going to stick around longer and you're going to reap the benefits for longer.
So when, people, they get a divorce, they change jobs, um, they maybe had a lot of flex time and all of a sudden they have, one partner loses their job, they have to work more. How can fitness be everyone's top priority, and why should it be their top priority?
Well, to me, it should be it's the most important priority just because of what it does. To me, fitness is the vehicle that drives us to being the best version of ourselves, right? I know for myself, when I am taking good care of myself, I'm exercising, I'm eating healthy, I'm getting good sleep, staying hydrated, all the things that I think are important to take care of myself. When I'm doing that, I'm a better husband, I'm a better son, I'm a better friend, I'm better at my job, I have more strength, energy, less anxiety, all those things. It just overflows into all areas of my life. And I believe the flip side of that is true also. When it falls out of my life and fitness kind of falls to the side, it overflows negatively into all areas of my life. And I become, you know, I don't handle anxiety as stress as well. I don't have the strength. I don't have the confidence. Which all affects my relationships. It really just a hunch. It makes me the worst version of myself. And so I think no matter what your most important things in life is, whether that's along with your family, your career, your faith, if you want to be the best version of yourself for that, then fitness has got to be a top priority of you too. And so we talked a little bit about when we first got on about how life changes, throw us off track, whether it can be a big change or a little change, good or bad. You could be getting married, you could be getting divorced, you could be getting fired, you can getting promoted, or maybe just your schedule changes. But when these things happen, we're really good at adapting to that change when it comes to our family, our career, our faith, all these things that are most important to us, but we're terrible at adapting to it when it comes to our health. It's always the thing we put off and we'll get to it later. But we're doing ourselves a disservice because we're not able to show up in life as the best version of ourselves as we let that fall to the side and we become worse versions of ourselves because fitness is not a priority. So that is really what I do right now, and what I feel like is my strength is I help people keep fitness a part of their life as their life changes.
And don't you think that health is wealth? Because if you have money and you lose it, you can always gain it again. But your health, if you lose your health, you would spend any amount of money to try to get that back again. And the thing is, it isn't always that easy. If you've let it go for 100 years and you have stress being your guiding force, then you got to pay the piper. So really, health is wealth, and it is what drives the bus. I mean, how do you
Mhm.
expect to have energy in your job and exuberance for what you're doing, or feel, I don't know, confident in your skin? And I think there's a lot of value in that. I think being strong makes you confident. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I think our reason why or what we'll gain from making fitness a big part of our life is kind of our main motivation is different for everybody. But yeah, you said it. I mean, I think there's so many things out there where you either got to pay for fitness now or pay to get well later, pay to get fit
Yeah,
now or pay to get healthy later. And
yeah. And
and we
that's
do that.
not
We
cheap.
yeah, we let our health
Not cheap to
falter and
pay to
then
get
we pay for it
healthy.
later. Yeah, we always say when as fitness professionals, when someone gets great results, well, that's life changing. You added years to your life, but the opposite of that is true too. When you don't take care of yourself and you kind of let fitness fall to the side, you're taking your quality of life away. And so you have to think of it on both sides of it. I mean, fitness isn't always easy, but if you understand why you're doing it, when the going gets tough, it will be easier.
Well, how can we give people some strategies? Let's say, I'm a mom. I gotta get up early, get ready, get my kids ready, pack their lunch, make sure I have my business meeting notes, get out the door, and hopefully have some coffee with on my way. Where can I fit? Where can I? And then I got to get home and help Susie and Johnny with their homework. Where can I fit fitness in?
Yeah, it feels like that person's easy excuse is I'm too busy, right? That's for most of us, that's our easy excuse. And I found when most people use that excuse, what they really mean is I'm too busy to work out like I used to. So like when our desire for change gets to its peak and we're ready to do something about our fitness, we often think of the last time we were in great shape or the last time we got great results. And whatever we did for our workouts, whatever we did for nutrition, whatever we did for everything at that time, that becomes the bar. It's like doing anything less than that is not doing enough, or it's something we'd actually be ashamed of. And here's the golden rule for if you want to keep fitness in your life long time, what you do for fitness has to fit in your life. So just because it fit in the past doesn't mean it's going to fit now. And doing less does not mean that it's less important to you. All it means is it fits differently in your life right now. And that's perfectly fine. So it used to be when you were single, before you had the job you have now. So now you have kids, you have a lot of responsibilities, you have a really busy life. But before all that, you might have worked out 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. But now that's impossible. And if it would not fit, right? And if you tried to force it to fit, then it would hurt all the other important areas of your life, like your relationships, your ability to be a mom, your ability to do your job well. And so that it's not necessarily going to be long-term success. What you want to do is figure out how it fits now. And so it might mean that you do three workouts a week for 45 minutes, and maybe it's less, but that doesn't mean it's less and it's less of a priority, and doesn't mean you're going to get less results from it either. It just, you have to do what fits in your life right now. So that would be the first thing I would say to someone that tells me their schedule, tells me all those things, and they're saying everything but I'm too busy to work out. And all you're saying is you're too busy to work out like you used to. So we have to start at the drawing board and figure out how it fits in your life right now.
And some people are kind of all or nothing. So they feel like if I
Mm.
can't work out that 2 hours, then, they just don't do anything. Uh, well,
Mm.
really, the truth of the matter is a lot of us could work out in a lot shorter time with an intense workout and a focused workout, right? Where we weren't taking constant breaks, where we were going all out. Maybe we sprint 6 minutes, and maybe we do more compound exercises that hit more muscle groups. What do you think about that?
Well, first to say, I get that hurdle in your head. That is a hard thing to overcome in your mind. I'm an ex-athlete. I used to work out really, really hard. I'm that 2 hour a day, 2 hour workout 5 day a week person. And when I first became a trainer, I lived right behind the gym. I was brand new to the city. I didn't know anyone yet. I didn't have any clients yet. So I was in amazing shape. I had so much time to work out. Now I'm married. I have my own studio. I have my own online business. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I do all these things. There's no way that would fit anymore. And if I tried to force it, it wouldn't work for everything else. And so, but I want to be able to work out that hard, like I did before, but I just can't do it. And so I have to remember why this is important to me, for one, and what I'm going to get out of it. And so I think that is the first, understanding your definition of fitness, which is really different for everybody. And so it might have been when I was in my 20s that I want to be as strong as possible. I want to be able to lift more than the NFL people doing the combine exercises. I want to be really, really lean. But now, in my 40s, it may be more that I want to have all of my energy. I want to have all of my range of motion, and I want to have all of my confidence. And I don't want to have the anxiety and stress that I would have if I was out of shape. And so why are you working out? What does fitness mean to you right now? That is the first place to start if you want to get rid of that hurdle of I'm not doing enough.
Well, a lot of us really need to understand that the biggest workout we need to do is in the kitchen, right?
Yeah, right, right.
Because it's what you eat, which is 85% of your results. And so if you can't work out as much, then focus on what you're putting in your mouth more, right?
Oh, absolutely. That is what is it? You can't outrun a bad diet, and that's the that's the
Yeah.
fitness one we all know.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
you can't outrun your fork.
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's true though. I always tell people abs are made in the kitchen and basically you have to eat, right? So put some time and thought and intention into what you're putting in your body. And I think if you're really busy, you're probably burning a lot of calories. And so get that workout in the 45 minutes instead of the 2 hours and see if it doesn't like actually work just as well, if not better, because many people don't follow the nutrition component.
Yeah, I think everything starts with good nutrition. And every supplement out there, it doesn't work if you don't first have good nutrition, right? And so, I mean, a lot of times if that's their biggest complaint is they don't seem to have any energy, they're tired all the time. The first step would be getting in a consistent workout routine, but getting in a healthy eating routine too. And it all could, your bad energy and you're being sleepy all the time could be from just a very unhealthy diet. And so that is the first step, changing your diet, throwing out the bad and replacing it with good, and just getting on a regular workout routine.
Love it. Now, here comes the next one. Well, there's three. I'm too bored. Too bored. I'm too old. I haven't heard the I'm too bored one, but I've heard the I'm too old and I'm too tired one. How do you overcome those excuses that you're making to yourself?
Yeah, and my book series, Make Fitness a Priority, that I told you about, I have a chapter in there that's dedicated to excuses. And so I have my top 10 of the favorite excuses I've had, and I just go through, I think it's chapter 3. But listeners will tell you my fitness app that we'll talk about more. You can get a copy of my first book on there, Make Fitness a Priority. But that topic, I go through all these excuses, but we'll start with bored. I'm too bored. A lot of times, I'm too bored comes from you're stuck doing the exact same thing every day. When I was growing up and watching my dad work out, he did the exact same fitness routine, exact same time, all Monday, Wednesday, Friday. He would
You didn't
he would walk
change it
down to the
up at
corner and
all?
back and didn't change a thing. 20 years. I remember growing up. It was exact same all the time. And so not only is your body just adapting to it and you're going to stop getting results that way, but the monotony of it, just doing the same thing over and over again has got to get boring. And so it's easy in training, we think of the fit principle. So we just frequency, intensity, type, time. Those are the variables you can change. So one thing I do take pride in with my clients is most of my clients, if they're asked what it's like training with me, they'll probably say that I feel like I never get the same workout. And really, they do get the same workout. They're doing resistance training. We have the same fitness goals that we've had for the longest time, but there's different ways to do it. So maybe we're doing a bicep curl, but maybe this time we're doing it with dumbbells. Next time we're doing it barbells. Next time we're doing it with resistance bands or cables. Or this time we're doing it with a squat or a step up. And so there's so many ways to make it different, so you're not doing the exact same thing. And not only will that make it more fun for you, but it'll stop you from adapting to it and kind of hitting a
Right, you get
plateau.
the constant challenge, which is what helps you really burn a
Yeah.
high amount of calories. Because sometimes if we're doing the same thing, we get on autopilot. It's just like,
Yeah.
haven't you ever been in your car and you're driving somewhere and you're like, oh, I didn't mean to go this way, but it's the way you go every day because,
Right.
right? So I
Yeah.
think it's kind of like that with workouts. What about I'm too old?
I'm too old. What is the saying we always have, right? You don't stop working out when you get old. You get old when you stop working out, right? Yeah, but that's a big excuse that people make. I think sometimes they make that because their fitness goals are different now. Either their fitness goals are different now and they need to adapt to that, or they have a misconception in their mind of what personal training means. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to get to train most of my family, but my dad was like the last one to jump on board and let me do it. And the reason was when he thought of personal training, he thought of bodybuilding. But for my dad, that's not what it is for him at all. His goals are really about being able to live pain free and being able to have all his range of motion, being able to get up and down from the floor, go up and down the stairs without pain, having more energy, things like that. And so it's different for everybody, but exercise and moving is good for everybody. And so I have a lot of clients that are in their 60s and 70s now, and they are some of the most fit people I know. So it doesn't, you're never too old. But if you're not moving, that is the fastest way to get old. I would say that.
Oh, I can agree with you more. One of my clients is getting ready to climb Mount Kilimanjaro in
Nice.
June, and she's 60. And I love training her. So positive, having goals keeps you vibrant and fit. She's doing incredible because I'm throwing it at her. And I really enjoy training somebody with a goal, but also just the fact that she's more fit than a lot of my 30-year-olds, I have to say. And sometimes as you get older, you might have a little more time that you can invest into yourself. So it does pay dividends.
Mhm.
I also find that working out, people say they're too tired, but that's the whole reason they should work out because it's going to give them energy. So how do we combat this excuse, I'm too tired?
Yeah, I'm too tired. That is one that's easy to make too. And a lot of times you're too tired because you've gotten far out of shape. And so as you get deconditioned and if you get kind of derailed with your nutrition and you have a unhealthy diet, that can take away your energy. If you're not getting enough sleep, if you have a lot of stress. But one way I see this come up a lot, and so I always like to point out, sometimes one thing that we don't adapt to is or that we don't adapt to when the change happens is our schedule. So I've had several times over the years where I've had a client who they always work out, say they work 7 to 4 and they always work out at 4:30, or they always train with me at 5. And all of a sudden, or whether they're training with me or just going to work out, but all of a sudden it becomes so much harder to do it. And they couldn't figure out why. It's like, is my willpower less? Do I not want it as much as I used to? And the simple truth is that this time of year, their job's way more stressful, and or something else is going on in their life, and so they don't have the energy anymore in the evening, and we just had to change when they did their workout. So sometimes if you're exhausted, it may not be any, it has nothing to do with your willpower or your desire for fitness or anything like that. It has more to do with you setting yourself up to fail by doing your workout when you have no energy. It could be that you're using all your energy up at work because your job's stressful this time of year, or you're changed jobs and you have a more stressful job, or one of those things. And so it could be just working out in the morning instead of in the evening could all of a sudden change that, and you'll be working at a time when you're more set up to succeed and you have more energy.
You got to change it up,
Mhm.
and you have to kind of look at your life and see what works and do, something that does work. Uh, and you've got to use it. You got to use it or you lose it. So you
Mm,
got to make it a priority. Like fitness, it needs to be a priority so you can do everything you need to do. Now, how does
absolutely.
how do we become donut slayers? I'm very interested in that.
When I was a wrestler in college, and I had a really good coach, and he always talked about us being dragon slayers. And so dragons for us, that was anything that could get a 19-year-old college wrestler in trouble, basically throughout the course of the year. But the donuts in the fitness world, are basically the curveballs we can't see coming. Right. And so there's certain obstacles or challenges we could face that we can see coming a long ways away. We can see them coming from the future, so we can plan ahead for them and adjust to them. The donuts are the ones that we can't see coming, and so we can't really plan for. So it could be, I have in my book, I have a chapter about this too, but I just have many examples. And so one of them is the bad weather donut. And so say you plan on running in the morning before you go to work, and you do a good job, and you do a good job the night before getting yourself all
Mhm,
set up to succeed. You have
mhm.
your workout clothes all ready, and you get dressed and you open the door and it's pouring outside. And so are you going to go run in the rain, or are you going to do your workout later? You have a lot of choices, but
That's a
basically the
day for
donut.
burpees.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Maybe you just
Indoor
change something
burpees.
up. But yeah, but the choice a lot of people would pick is okay, I can't do my workout today, right? But
The
you
easy
have to
way.
basically, the donut is just you're getting rid of plan A and you're pivoting to plan B. And so that's like why my fitness app is called the Fitness Pivot, because it's all about when plan
Mhm.
A gets destroyed, you have to come up with a better plan. And you have at your disposal the only tool you need to really to solve the problem, and that is your own brain. How can you still do it? How can you still make fitness a priority despite this? And so another example of a donut is the sick kid donut. This has happened a lot over the years. It's coming up where I've had someone who's going to train with me after they get off work, or they're going to train with me over their lunch hour maybe, and they get a call from school and their kid is sick, and so they have to go pick up their kid. And so now they're working from home the rest of the day and have to take care of their child. So how are they going to get their workout in now? Their plan of when they're going to do the workout is done. And so it could be you go on vacation, you plan on workout in the fitness center, and the fitness center either doesn't exist, they don't have one, or it's closed or something. And so there's all kinds of curveballs out there that can come up unexpectedly. And it basically, you can take the easy route and just say, well, I can't work out. Or you can say, how can I still work out? And what's plan B now? And that is being a donut slayer. If you can keep fitness a priority instead of finding an excuse, finding a way, that is how you keep fitness a priority, because curveball is going to come up all the time.
So yeah, I find that very interesting. And I will say I am a donut slayer. I
Mhm.
know when, I went to New York, I'm traveling, and the gyms aren't always as close, so it might take you a little longer to get to a gym. So on the one day we didn't have as much time, but I had brought my heavy it's a battle jump rope, and I just did kind of a functional workout. And my daughter, she lived in an apartment then. Um, the laundry room, I just
Mm,
did a workout, like kind of plyometrics, battle jump rope, which gets your arms and your core and your heart rate. And I think you find that way. Like I was in the hotel room one time and figuring out, okay, what am I going to do? I'll run the beach for the cardio. I'll come back. I'll use the cooler for the bicep curls. I'll put my feet up on the chair and my hands on the floor. That'll be the push-ups. Like you could think of all these things, be creative. And then my whole
mhm.
family was working out in the living room. We were doing all this stuff. And so I think it's just realizing it doesn't always have to be show up the same way. And I think that it's kind of like the mother of invention. You're like, oh, that was kind of fun. And actually, I'm sore
Yeah.
uh, from doing something different instead of thinking it always has to be the same workout. And also, we also have to talk about because you're saying donut slayer. So I'm also thinking about my client that came to me and said, Linda, my accountability partner is bringing me crumble cookies.
Oh no.
And she's like, what,
Mhm.
what am I supposed to do with that? And I think somebody brought her ice cream cake at work for doing a good job. And what about when you started a fitness plan and you've let people know? What about
Yeah.
those people that come out of the woodwork to test your resilience and your willpower if you're really serious?
Yeah, that unfortunately happens. The hardest one I think is when your significant other or your spouse at home or your girlfriend or boyfriend isn't on the same path as you right now and you're in different places. And so but you can that's another donut. I mean, you can use it as a reason to say, well, it's just not in the cards for me to get in shape right now. This is too hard with all this bad temptation and enabling around me. Or you can be the one that influences them as the way I see it. You can be the one that says, no, thank you. I'm I'm in a I'm on a new fitness plan or nutrition plan right now that I'm gonna stick to. And when they see you getting the results, they would see you getting the energy from it and getting the improvement from it, it could steer them towards you. And so instead of them influencing you, the other option is maybe you influence them. And so it's not easy.
Mm.
It's not what you planned on, but that you don't have to use that as an excuse to stop. And you can think of it as just another obstacle you have to overcome.
Well, people will try to, I hate to say it, but people will try to sabotage you. I
And
don't know
that's
why.
a hard obstacle to overcome. I can tell you as someone who loves food and loves donuts
Yeah,
in particular, that is a
yeah.
very hard obstacle to overcome. But that doesn't mean just because it's hard doesn't mean you can't
Come
do it.
on, why aren't you drinking one? Have one. Oh, just one. Oh, what? You're not going to eat the cake? I made it just for you. It's just
Right.
endless, right? And so I think one thing I always tell them is stick to your guns. They're just testing you out. And sometimes it's true that people don't want you to go, elevate or raise a little bit above if they're, not on the same page.
Mhm.
So you have to get a little strong with the mindset, not just the muscle, and realize that once you get in the best shape of your life, people are going to be like wanting to know what you did, how did you do that? And it isn't going to be the sabotage anymore.
Yeah, you can turn that story around and change it. You can. It just got to dig in a little bit.
How can people become a fitness fisherman? Or in our case, fisherwoman.
Fisherwoman, right? Well, that's a term I kind of created as I so the make fitness a priority. That was my book series when I first kind of wanted to make a longer impact with my clients. And so the fitness reset and the fitness pivot app that you can find, that is kind of the next step for me for that. And so I don't want because the make fitness a priority, I was helping people make fitness more of a longer priority and they're looking past their short-term goals, but people are still falling off track. So how can I want to keep fitness in people's lives long term. So that is to me what a fitness fisherman is. And so you've heard this saying before. It comes from the popular saying, you give someone a fish, you feed them for a day. But if you teach someone to fish, you feed them for the rest of their lives. With the fitness reset, basically that, in my mind, that helps people figure out how fitness fits in their life always, how they can keep fitness a part of their life. With the fitness reset, it is a regular process. I recommend people doing it quarterly, but it's just kind of checking in. It's just two questions you ask of yourself to figure out in what is fitness, does real fitness really fit in my life right now? Um, and how much accountability do I need to be successful right now? Just checking in with yourself and knowing that every time you answer those two questions, it's going to be different, but it's going to help you overcome all the obstacles and all the changes that life's going to throw at you just through the course of the year. Most of the time, most people fall off track, whether it be they completely derail or they fall off just a little bit in their fitness program throughout the course of a year. Throughout the course of a year. And that's everybody. I believe that's most fitness professionals also. Whether it be just a little bit of slack in their in what they the fitness level they want to stay at or completely falling off course, but it's just because life changes so much for us throughout the course of the year. And if we don't adapt to it, then we will kind of fall off track. So the fitness reset and the fitness pivot app are just designed to help you keep fitness in your life no matter what changes happen. And that is to me how you can keep fitness in your life and be a fitness fisherwoman.
How do we get off of the inconsistency roller coaster? Uh, where somebody decides they ate a couple donuts, they didn't slay the donut, and then they work out like a warrior on Saturday, and then they don't show up all week.
Yeah, the inconsistency roller coaster. That's something that kind of led me to creating the fitness reset. And so this time of year, being at the beginning of the year when New Year's resolutions are so popular, and with as fitness professionals, we know fitness or New Year's resolutions to be kind of a negative thing because that's all we hear about New Year's resolutions are the fails and how people fail at them and everything. And I believe it is because we are in a world of instant gratification, right? And so whenever our desire for change and for improvement is at its peak, that is when we become the easiest prey, and when our judgment becomes the most clouded, right? Even for the smartest people. But there are tons of promises of fast results with little or no work on our part, and so we're not paying attention, and we're not looking for what's going to necessarily fit us. We're looking for what's going to be the fastest way out of this pain that we're in because we don't like where we're at. And so all these promises of fast results with less work are what is going to get us on a path that is just going to lead us to temporary success and then eventually fall off track because we can't keep it up long term. And so that is the inconsistency roller coaster that we fall on because we're not looking at what fits in our life. We're looking at what gives us the fastest results. And that's not long term. You can't keep it up for very long. And so the way you get off the inconsistency roller coaster is just by hitting the reset button and making sure what you're doing actually fits what your life is right now and fits what your goals are.
Now, one of the hardest things in fitness is not reaching your goals. It's staying there once you've reached them and doing maintenance. So what is your recommendation to people because they get all gung ho, they get where they want to be, and then it's just they go backwards.
Yeah, well, usually we start with one goal, right? And so as I worked at 24-hour fitness when I first became a trainer many, many years ago, you learn right away people come to you fueled by short-term motivation, right? There's probably something coming up that got them started, and it could be a wedding, could be swimsuit season, could be a vacation, an event they're training for, something like that. And it's really awesome to help people reach these goals and get this short-term success. But you learn right away if you don't ever look past that goal, then it's only going to be temporary. You eventually have to ask yourself, what's next? What am I going to do next? How is this going to look after I reach my goal? Because if you don't, then the answer is going to be made for you. It's going to be nothing. You're going to do nothing, and you're going to go back to the way you were before and all the things you did before you started working out. And you're going to eventually go back to where you were before you started working out. And so it doesn't have to stay the same. If you're really motivated and you lean into that motivation and you're working really hard to reach your goal, you don't have to keep that same intensity up. So, but maybe so just keep in mind that, even the best
Maintenance.
athletes in the world, yeah, even the best athletes in the world, they go through seasons, right? And so you're
Right.
not
You
going to keep
push
working out
hard, you
as
got to
hard as you
back
can
off a little
forever.
bit for a
There's
while.
nothing wrong with doing
Yeah.
less, right? There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
doing less, but you have to
Yeah.
plan for it. You have to know
Right.
what's next. What does maintenance
Yeah.
look like for me? What's the next goal? Is it maintaining it, or am I going more? Am I whatever it is? You need to know what's next, because if you don't ask yourself that question and answer it, what's next is nothing, and you're going to go back to where you were before.
Yeah. And like I pushed really hard through like the last 2 years because I was getting up from injuries. And so I pushed and I got up again. I finally was able to do a fitness routine again. I won the championship. I got my pro card. I was pushing, pushing, pushing. And then after November, I was like, okay, let's back, it's going to be holidays. My family's going to be here. I'm going to enjoy that. Let's back it down a little bit. Let's, take it I don't stop working out, but more easy, a little more rest, not so like hardcore. And then just thinking about that, now I'm in the phase, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do figure, I think, in June. So I'm like, okay, I gotta put on muscle, which actually in a way is sort of a rest for me because I'm always more of an endurance kind of athlete. And so I'm lifting heavy, but only 8 reps versus like 25 reps. So like to me, and I get to eat more. So it's kind of like a fun change up. So I think if you got anything from this podcast today, it was you have to change it up. You can't go hard all the time. It's like a sprint. When you do a sprint, you couldn't keep sprinting for like 25 minutes.
Mhm.
So you sprint and then you rest and you have to kind of learn this in life because sometime maybe you're going to take on a lot at work, right? And it's going to be hard. So you have to kind of be like, okay, I'm sprint season at work, which means workout season has to back off a little. And then maybe you get that
Mhm.
project done and then you're like, okay, now I'm going to push harder on my workouts, right?
Yeah, your intensity is gonna change throughout the course of the year. Your motivation is gonna fluctuate throughout the course of the year, and so you just kind of have to adapt with it as it goes. But yeah, you're not gonna be. There's nothing wrong with doing less. So if you just had a great physical goal, so maybe your first goal is to lose 30 pounds, or maybe it was to gain 30 pounds of muscle, or whatever it was. Once you reach that, that probably took a lot of hard work, and you should celebrate and be proud of yourself. But you may not be able to keep that same intensity up. But so what does it look like next? And so maintaining after that is there's nothing wrong with that, but just know you couldn't go at that pace forever. There's nothing wrong with kind of going with the change and adapting to it as you go.
And we kind of laugh because we're like, yep, you only have abs for the week of show. Because you can't maintain some of the pace that you go at the last 3 weeks forever. Like I don't do extremes for I think it's actually better if you just kind of are on the lifestyle so you
Hmm.
don't have to go to extremes. But if you do, it's usually only the last 3 weeks. And so you can't go like that forever. And you have to realize that fitness is in cycles, just like the seasons are in
Hmm.
cycles, like your fruit is in cycles. And sometimes people they believe in that seasonal eating. So I think if you can kind of take that approach to your fitness, then you're gonna always be able to make it a priority. At least it's got to be on the list.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's still, no matter what you do, there's still going to be times of the year where it's easy for you to do the work, and there's going to be times of the year where it's hard for you to do the work, and that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that. But so just maybe always reminding yourself why you're doing it, what you're getting out of it. Those are two key things to know that's going to help you keep going.
Yeah, I think your why has got to be a driving force. And sometimes you have to create a why or like an occasion. Like maybe you did have I don't know, you wanted to look good at your class reunion or the wedding or whatever, if your kids were getting married and you want to be looking good at their wedding, is it depends. But then make another kind of occasion that motivates you and that another goal and stack that, because that's what keeps you going. You have to have some kind of something as a compass that's kind of directing your path, I think.
Hmm. Yep, absolutely.
So tell us about your books, your fitness app. Where can everybody get this? Where can everyone reach you on social media?
So I would first recommend you going to the Fitness Pivot. That is my app. You can find it in the Google and Apple stores. The Fitness Pivot. So just as we talked about earlier, when plan A no longer works and you have to throw plan A out the window, then what's next? You have to be able to pivot. But on there, you'll be able to actually get there's two freebies that you can get on there. You can go to the Fitness Reset. I have a mini course on there that walks you through what you need to do. So if you've been listening to us today and you've been thinking, well, I think I need to reset my fitness. I don't think what I'm doing really fits in my life right now. It's a very easy um, questions you have to ask that you need to answer for yourself that'll help make sure what you're doing fits in your life. So the fitness reset mini course is on there. And you can also get a free PDF copy of my first book, Make Fitness a Priority, How to Win the Fight Against Your Excuses, on there as well. But I actually have three books, Make Fitness a Priority series, and you can find them all on Amazon, and you can get to them from my fitness app too. So the Fitness Pivot, that's the best way to find me. And there's plenty of resources on there for you to help you keep fitness a part of your life and hopefully steer you in the direction of becoming a fitness fisherman or fitness
Uh,
woman.
Fisherwoman. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed having you on. I know all of my people out there that have their ups and downs. Like, I mean, that's like 90, like that's a big percent of everybody are going to
Mhm.
enjoy this podcast. Make sure, guys, look for the app, the Fitness Pivot app. It's an app. And then the Fitness Reset is on there. So, and is that free?
Yes. Yeah. The mini
So
course is
can't
free
beat
and
that.
yep.
Can't beat that, guys. So make sure to check it out. Thanks so much for coming on. I really enjoyed you. And I think we all learned how to become a donut slayer today. I like that. I like that analogy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks everybody for listening to this episode. Let us know what resonated with you, and let's all become donut slayers today. Keep on keeping on, everyone. Bye, everybody.